My name is Josh Willis. I'm the Executive Director for Mission Regan. My full-time job is I'm a firefighter paramedic for the town of Little Elm. I'm also a part-time tech for a pediatric clinic here in Allen. In 2008, I went on a medical mission trip with Dr. Brent Armstrong to Uganda. And while we were planning, I worked at a pediatric urgent care. And I decided to start collecting the scissors and tools that were being thrown away for suture removal. And then I started collecting some stuff that they're throwing away, like D50, some medicines. And it actually ended up being about a crate full. And when we got to Uganda, the doctors were ecstatic. We actually did a C-section with some of the tools that we had brought because theirs were so rusty. And that just kind of opened my eyes to, because I've never been to Africa before, and it just opened my eyes to what we have and how we take it for granted sometimes. When I got back, I started a movement of me just collecting things from the fire station that was being thrown away, and some stuff was just surplus, it wasn't expired. So that just started, and every time a mission trip would go, I would send it with them. And then in 2010, we decided to adopt. When we went back 4 months later, my wife and I took another case of medical supplies. Better stuff this time, stuff that we had actually got from hospitals. Right before I left my part-time job, they had some expired Rocephin, just expired. And I said, I'll take this with me. And when we got to the baby's home, the next morning we saw a little boy sitting over in the corner, and he was eating, and he was breathing so fast. And I wanted to take him to the hospital, but I knew I couldn't. But he ate because he knew he had to, but he was so sick. And that night, Courtney and I went to go tuck Owen in. Oh, tears me up every time. And they had his head tied up to a crib to keep his airway open. And I knew that he was really sick, which is common there. Kids die all the time. And the next morning I asked the nurse what was wrong. And she said that he was diagnosed with bronchial pneumonia and that the doctor prescribed an antibiotic, but it's too expensive for the baby's home to buy. And when I asked her what it was, it happened to be the exact antibiotic that I had. And I was running back to my room, and I was in tears. And I told Courtney, and it was a joy, but it was also sadness. And then we brought it back, and she was drawing it up as fast as she could. And she was giving it to this boy and to these other kids. And it was touch and go for him for 3 days, really sick. And then that fourth morning, I woke up and I came out because I heard Owen and Courtney laughing. And there it was. This little boy was throwing the ball with my son and Courtney. And the medicine helped, and that boy was Regan. And then when we came home, it just started, and it was something that Courtney and I said, hey, we just need to collect more and keep doing it and send it to everybody. And so we started going to hospitals. A lady that goes to church with us, she said, hey, my CEO heard about what you guys are doing, and hey, he's got a little bit some supplies if you guys want them. And when I went there, she said, no, not just this. They took us down to the warehouse, the shipping warehouse where they take everything out. And it was full of medical supplies. And I literally broke down because I knew that this is what we were supposed to do. It wasn't just, it was a sign. And we started with that hospital, and then we were just picking and pulling from what we wanted for different missions. And I went to the warehouse, the big warehouse where all these hospitals send their supplies, and there's probably 10 pallets. And Dr. Armstrong and I were just pulling what we needed. And I remember we were leaving because we filled this truck up, and I turned around and I almost broke down because I saw all this stuff that people could use. And I went back and I said, I'll tell you what, if you don't let anybody else have it, to pick and pull, I'll take every single pallet from you. And that started the process, and they called other hospitals for me, emailed them, and then other hospitals emailed me and said, hey, you can have our stuff. Physician assistant Matthew Bruno gave us 3,200 antibiotics. Brian Flagg he works for CoServ, collecting their first aid supplies that were going out of date. The fire department, I take stuff that, that's just being discarded, but not stuff that's gonna harm people. This stuff is like oxygen tubing, things like that doesn't go bad, and it could save a life. So our goal now is to get this stuff everywhere. We don't wanna have anything in our storage. We want it to be empty. Get it in and get it out. And that's our goal. And that's Mission Regan.